past few years, I've been lucky enough to fly first class with some of the best rated airlines around the world. But funny enough, it's been a while since I've been able to fly my home airline, Air Canada, and figure out what's the best that they've got to offer. Now, Air Canada's done a bunch of refreshes to their signature class in recent times, so in this video, I'm going to share what it's like to fly both domestically and internationally with Air Canada in signature class, and what the experience is like both in the air, on the ground, and when it comes to transferring between flights. That's going to be a special surprise, so stick around to find out. For now, let's go to our first flight from Vancouver to Toronto. And of course, what better way to start than to visit the all too familiar Maple Leaf Lounge. This lounge came with a vast selection of fruits, pastries, and beverages, a clean, cozy seating area, and a solid Wi-Fi connection. And with that very brief visit to the lounge, it was finally time to board the plane. Now, the seat itself is your standard reverse herringbone business class seat. It's fairly spacious with some decent counter space, an entertainment screen, and a pull-out tray table beneath it that folds out like so. There's also a nifty set of seat controls on a little monitor. Alright, now, if you haven't heard, Air Canada's recently introduced a few new items on the menu, including things like oat milk, APEROL SPRITZ, and even Vizzy Mimosa hard seltzer right here. So on today's journey, I'm interested in trying out a few of these and seeing how they taste, starting with this coffee with some oat milk. I selected my breakfast options shortly after and decided to rest for a bit while the plane began to take off. After that short rest, the appetizer was served. To start, we have a fruit salad, bread, butter, and jam, and a chia seed pudding with roasted coconut. However, there was a specific dish that I was truly looking forward to. That's right, it's Air Canada's renowned parsley omelette.
Wow.
If you're an Air Canada frequent flyer, this dish will be very familiar. It comes with a chicken sausage, cottage cheese, roasted potatoes, and red pepper relish, which were all quite good. And of course, I had to try some of that Vizzy hard seltzer that was just introduced. With only about an hour left of the flight, I connected to the onboard Wi-Fi to get some work done and prepare myself for a little surprise on the ground. Now, this domestic flight on Air Canada's signature class has been super smooth. I love these daytime flights. 9 a.m. departure, have a little snooze in the morning, breakfast, parsley omelette, have some coffee, and then we're just about landing in Toronto. It's gonna be the afternoon, 3 hours of time for my overnight transatlantic flight over to Barcelona. Hello, how's it going?
Nice to see you
Great
again.
to see you as well.
So we have the car. Nabil here is going to take you to the vehicle.
Amazing.
And I'll follow behind you.
Okay,
Make
awesome.
sure it all goes sweet, but Nabil will be your driver.
All right, let's go. Thanks for having me. All right, this is an absolutely insane thing to be doing. We've got the Air Canada Porsche transfer here on the ground in Toronto Pearson. Now, obviously, I've arranged this as an Aeroplan Super Elite member, but also for the purposes of making this video. Normally, it's a surprise and delight basis for Super Elite members, but if you're lucky enough to get this car when you're here in Toronto connecting internationally, it's gonna be one hell of an experience. If you're lucky enough to be chosen for the car service, you'll be whisked away from the plane and driven across the tarmac all the way to your next destination, the Air Canada Signature Suite. That was absolutely incredible. Now it's time to go eat in the Signature Suite in Toronto. Alright guys, so they've given me the private dining room here at the Air Canada Signature Suite, which is normally reserved for VIPs. Not really something that the average traveler can book, so I'm obviously very appreciative. It's going to be a really nice dining experience. I've got my Taittinger Brut champagne as well as my Laurent Perrier Rosé, but I'm gonna have the appetizers in here, and then I'm gonna go out there and have my mains and try the food out there as well. So I've got to say, this tuna tataki first bites have been among the best tuna tataki I've ever had. Got a little spice to it, a little bit of yuzu, Japanese grapefruit, and then very light soy sauce. Really enjoying it. Up next, we've got the Quebec Foie Gras Terrine. This looks super decadent. Just gotta try it with a little bit of brioche on the side. Looks like I've been recommended this little dessert wine to go along with it. Really excited to see how this tastes. Oily, fatty, salty, coupled with this sweet wine. It's really nice. And with that delicious appetizer out of the way, it's time to step out into the rest of the lounge for my mains. And I gotta say, as I walked around to take a look at what was on the hot plates, I was extremely impressed with the diversity in the options. Really encapsulates what Toronto is all about. If you've been watching for a while now, you know that I have a large appetite, so of course I ordered not one, not two, but 3 different mains. My first dish, the PANKO crusted shrimp, was a nice mix of strong Korean flavors and roasted veggies. For the second main, I selected the seared halibut, and while the fish itself was delicious, the dish had many shiitake mushrooms, which are not really my favorite. And my third main was the Canadian beef tenderloin, which was tender as can be with the support of fresh vegetables and a pungent horseradish. To release me from the weight of all that food, I chose to go with the strawberry lemonade sorbet. After my second lounge visit for the day, it was time to board my next flight overnight to Barcelona. Walking down this cabin, I can already see that the seat itself is not all that different. Okay, we've taken off now and we're en route to Barcelona. I've had a fair bit to eat and drink in the signature suite, but of course, there's still the menu here, and I've got just enough room for an appetizer, a main course, and maybe dessert. Alright, well now it's time for another special item on the menu that's recently been introduced by Air Canada, and that's the APEROL SPRITZ. Now on a flight over to the southern Mediterranean, I can't imagine a more fitting drink to start off the meal. Dinner is served, and I have to say Air Canada's onboard liquor selection continues to impress. Here we've got a glass of Laurent Perrier. I'm gonna ease up on the drinking very soon, but first, time for the appetizer. Alright, now we've got this chicken dish that looks really nice, and you know what? I think it was in the lounge that I had shrimp, I had beef, I had fish, and so now it's time to try the chicken on board. Running out of space in my stomach, but let's fit it in. I had shrimp, I had beef, I had fish. Alright, and now to wrap up the meal, we've got this passion fruit tart over here. I also got some peppermint tea. It's been a solid food and drink experience all around, so after wrapping this up, it'll be time to get some sleep for a few hours. When it comes to the bathrooms here on the Boeing 777, it's still one of those older generation ones compared to some of the newer aircraft that Air Canada has. It's a little bit small in here. You've got your maple leaf decor on this side. You've got some nice hand creams by Edition Voyage. Down here you've got the toilet, so just a little bit of room to maneuver. And let's take a look at this amenity kit by Acqua di Parma, shall we? You can see here there's a dental kit, there's eye shades, there's a little bottle of cologne, some earplugs, and one of my favorite thoughtful features that Air Canada has, a little piece of cloth to wipe your glasses. Now the contents of the amenity kit are quite nice, but I have to say this bag feels a little bit cheap compared to the leather Acqua di Parma bags that Air Canada had first introduced a couple months ago, and now it's just this pretty flimsy zip-up bag. I do feel like they could have stuck with a more premium version, but this is what we've got. Okay, so we're finally done eating and drinking, and now there's about 4 hours of the flight left to go until we land in Barcelona, and I'm gonna get about 3 hours of sleep. Usually with these transatlantic flights, it's not that easy to get some sleep, get some quality rest, so I'm gonna get however much sleep that I can, but I do want to wake up and try the breakfast and maybe go for one more cheeky APEROL SPRITZ. We'll see. But for now, this is the Boeing 777 reverse herringbone seats, so not that much leg room and my knees do bang into the sides a little bit, but overall it's still a comfortable enough sleeping surface, and I'll get some rest and I'll see you when I wake up. Good morning. Now, we're just about starting our descent into Barcelona now. And if you're an Air Canada frequent flyer, there's one thing that you live and die by. That's right, it's Air Canada's renowned parsley omelette. As I took those bites of that all too familiar parsley omelette and sipped that one final APEROL SPRITZ, my journey on Air Canada's signature class came to a close. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to watch this video next about what it's like to fly in 3 separate cabins on a single Air Canada flight: business class, premium economy, and economy class. And yes, this time you'll get to see me in economy class. I'll see you in that video.